Welcome to Camper Trailer of the Year 2024, sponsored by the power of Red Arc. Now this morning you find us at Copton Dam, and I'm taking a little bit of a closer look around the Patriot X3 GEN2. Although it looks a lot like its predecessor, so far in the last 2 days I've been able to count about over 20 different elements, not just small changes. We're talking about structural changes, we're talking about the way it's fitted out. And for those of you who know Patriot X3, look at this. This is an actuator to deploy the tent, and I can tell you one thing for sure. Patriot were the first ones to set up last night when we rolled in at 8 o'clock at night. So come with us over the next few days and let's see if we can find every single change in this camper. And more importantly, I'm wondering what difference it's making to what is already a tried and tested market leader in adventure campers. Patriot Campers have a loyal client base of empty nesters or couples with older kids who are looking for the quality that's synonymous with the Patriot brand and with technology at their fingertips. They want to be able to park their camper in a suburban garage and then on the weekends take it away with any one of a range of modest-sized all-wheel drives or four-wheel drives.
So we towed the X3 with two different Jeeps, a Gladiator Rubicon and a more basic 5-door Wrangler. I would choose the Wrangler over the Rubicon purely because the rear articulation is just that little bit better and it will give you just a bit more grip off-road, but both were fantastic. Yes, the drawbar is slightly longer on the Gen2 X3, but it is still relatively short and it tows fantastically. Leveling it out when you put a bit of a load in is easy too with the progressive rate airbag suspension.
I got to tow the X3 Gen2 over the Barraba track out near Narrabri with a Jeep Gladiator Rubicon ute. Now, the funny thing is with the camper's 36-degree departure angle, the DO35 hitch, the X-Cruise suspension, you know what? I didn't even know the trailer was behind us. We're gracefully going over that track without a problem at all. Because it's such a compact camper, you could tow it with anything and almost go anywhere.
The Generation 2 X3 might look the same as the Generation 1 X3, but it is not. Everything has changed except for the mattress, but a detail I particularly like is that the spreader bars have been moved to the outside of the tent. This means when you're setting it up on a cold, wet day, you don't have to run inside with wet shoes to tension the canvas. There's also an electric actuator to open the bed up. It makes life so simple. Pop a couple of latches, grab the fob, and away you go. To some, the remote central locking might seem a bit gimmicky, but once those seals have bedded down, it works very, very well. Unlock the camper, you'll recognise that you've done so by the bright red LEDs, and then just pop the cupboards you need open. The seamless look, the lack of latches, it's really well done. Visually, another big change to the X3 is in the kitchen. There's now a cutting board or table that sits above the sink when packed away and simply lifts up to extend the bench space you need when you're using the kitchen. There are also soft close gas struts on almost every drawer inside the X3. Where it's particularly good is underneath that fantastic Dometic stove. You pull it out, it's nice and gentle and it slides back in so clean. These things are brilliantly designed.
We were told that a lot of the changes that have been made to the Gen2 were a response by Patriot to challenges that they faced during COVID. And also they were seeking an opportunity to streamline the production processes. So instead of the fused steel and aluminium that was welded in the previous body, we're now looking at marine grade aluminium, steel and composite. The drawbar is now an extended drawbar for both the X1 and the X3 models. And indeed the body size of the X3 is now the same as the X1, making it 150 millimeters shorter than its predecessor. What we previously used to see in the hexacore awning fabric has now been replaced by Dynaproof fabric, and we have an electronic activated roof, and the poles have been moved from the inside to the outside. In addition to that, we've swapped from the overseas sourced Webasto hot water system to a Truma hot water system. Because all of the changes that have been made to the X3 Gen2 have not necessarily been driven by identified deficiencies or customer feedback, in a way, Patriot's making a leap of faith that the customer base for the X3 will consider this to be a fundamentally better product. There are some really great changes to the Gen2, and for my part, the redesigned kitchen is an absolute knockout.
With 1,850 litres of storage capacity throughout the entire trailer, you'll find that by the time you do your numbers, you've got 440 kilos of payload to go. minus off the 150 litres of water storage and the 75 litre fridge, you're looking at just under 200 kilos to play with. But with that sort of capacity, you're looking at a camper for about 3 to 4 days, and then you're going to start running out of water if you're heavy on the water. If not, you could probably stretch that to 5. To power this puppy, you've got two 150 amp hour gel batteries. To back that up, you've got the RedArc Red Vision and Rogue systems. You've got an external jack for solar, and as shown, it was with a 120 watt. This one has also got underfloor lighting, it's got internal lighting, it's got external lighting, you've got a whole bunch of USBs throughout. So if you're going to be heavy on the energy use, you probably want to pump up the solar capacity.
The lounge inside the X3 works. It is super comfortable, the height is just right, and so is the bed. The mattress is nice and deep and plush, and there is enough space on there that you can leave your bedding on there once you've packed down. One of the most comforting details in the X3 is that you do have access to the fridge from inside. Now yeah, you could be grabbing a beer, but it's actually better yet in the morning because you've got power systems inside as well. Bring your own coffee machine, fire it up, grab some milk, and just stay in bed. It's brilliant. The X3 uses a Truma Combi D hot water service and space heater. Now these are fantastic units. They will heat water quickly and work as a space heater, and they are so frugal.
In Patriot, the quality management systems are internationally accredited, so you can start anywhere on one of these campers and see quality build and quality finish wherever you look. The Australian steel chassis is as strong as it ever was, but the X-Cruise suspension has been modified now so that it also includes airbags. It bristles, as ever, with quality RedArc componentry. And one particular feature with this camper is that the doors are foam lined, and that just makes them stronger. The level of quality and attention to detail that's lavished on the Patriot is the sort of thing that you might expect would be achieved by a convention of retired NASA engineers. For my money, if we ever establish a colony on Mars, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a small fleet of X3s dropped onto the surface to support it.
The X factor, in my mind anyway, to the X3 Gen 2 is what actually exemplifies Patriot as a brand. It's that constant evolution. In this case, it was forced upon them by COVID with restrictions in the supply chain. The benefit to the Australian community and to you as a consumer is that there's now more Australian fittings and componentry inside the camper than there was previous.
It's a Patriot. They're not cheap, but you get what you pay for. They are so exceptionally well built, well designed, and have such a strong legion of passionate followers. You pay for that. This X3 comes in at around $93,000. That will be a big pill for some people to swallow, but there is a line forming up at the door, so if you want one, you better get in fast.